What's up, amigos? Welcome to Build Up. I know it's been a while since my last upload. I believe it was September, but I've been real busy. And actually, I was supposed to upload a video like towards the end of November. But you guys saw, those who follow me on Instagram, I posted a photo of my screens for my next video. Will be the stroke test, but I never got to finish it. I only record a small part, and today I'm actually gonna finish where I left off. So yeah, but let me take you to where the day where I was recording, then we'll come back and finish the rest of the video. Well, what's up, amigos? Welcome to the Build Up. Okay, so for today's video, what we're gonna be doing is I'm gonna be testing some strokes, man. As you guys know, when you're screen printing, when you're printing a multicolor print job, sometimes it's difficult to register, especially when it's butt to butt or when you have an underbase, because the last thing you want to do is have a little gap between your colors. And I always heard that 1-point stroke is the way to go, or choking your underbase, but sometimes I realize that it's not always, every print is not always the same. So that's going to be doing today. I'm going to be doing some test prints. I'm going to test some strokes, the 1 point. I'm going to be doing the 1.5. I can see if I could get away with 2-point stroke, because 2-point stroke I think is good when it's like something simple, but when you start to get into details on the print, I think that's where you start to run issues, especially if it's the smaller the print, the more issues you're gonna have, because a 1-point stroke on, like for example, a 2-point stroke on a large print, like for example, it's just a big black square, 2-point stroke, not that issue. But if it's something smaller and you add a 2-point stroke, it's gonna look like a big blob. So yeah, so we'll be doing that today. But before we do that, let me go back to earlier, just a few minutes ago, where I was actually showing you guys how to arrange this shop. Then we'll come back. So I know it's been a while since I uploaded, but can't remember exactly if I was on, I think it was on Instagram and Facebook, where you guys saw me while I was cleaning up here in the shop, and I actually decided to rearrange everything, which I did. And back here, I actually took away my exposure unit and I put this table. That way I have room for the printer. I'm going to be using it for sublimation because I do have an outlet right there, which meant that I moved my exposure unit all back here. But there was an issue. There was no outlet back there. I actually had to install one and actually added the light bulb right there. And I decided to put yellow bug light. I mean, I could have done it with the regular light, because this unit does have, the yellow strip on it. But I didn't think it would hurt to have that on there as well. And down here, I can have my flash. I already use it, so that's why I put it right there. In case if I do want to use it, I could just pull that up. And actually, right over here on the inks, I actually added the heat press, since I kind of do use that more now, since I find that a lot easier, where I just, print a shirt, take it out, and hit it with the heat press. So yeah, so I move that, and that's pretty much it. And I actually end up today, I reclaimed all my screens. Y'all watch there. It was actually a lot easier because I actually made like a little, little jig for it. I made this little stand with the old screen. If you guys saw my post, I posted on Instagram and Facebook, where it got eaten by termites. I mean, it was still savable, but my kids actually ended up ripping the mesh on it, so it was gone, even though I don't even use that screen anyways. So I used that one, and I also used an old screen to have this one. That way I want to be crouching all the time down here, and reclaim my screens. So yeah, it made it a lot easier. Actually thinking of adding something up here so I can have my brushes and put my squirts, but I'm actually like to make a box, because back here the sun hits it real hard. So now we're back here at the shop. You saw how I rearrange everything. And before I actually do the test, I'm actually gonna I'm gonna expose one screen just to test it out, to test this in motion, because this is the motion I bought from Octopus Technologies. This is not the one I bought when I barely went to Mexico City to the festival event. As you guys saw that, I think it was like a month ago where I went and I bought a new motion because I was wearing out for the other one. But this is the old one. This is not the one I just recently bought. This is like from my other trip that I went to Mexico City. So, and I don't remember how long that video is where I actually bought this and tested it out. So yeah, so it's old, man. I mean, it's real old. So before I actually coat all my screens with this emotion, if we're not to work out, I'm gonna test with one. Even though I actually did that yesterday, I coated a little small screen, a little wood screen. Sorry back there, but I did that. I exposed it with the sun, and it actually came out good. So I'm gonna go with this emotion, but just to double check, I'm gonna coat one screen and test it out. I'm actually gonna give the time a lot more. Let me coat my screen, and we'll see how it works out. Okay, so we're back where we left off. This is actually the screens that I actually exposed on that day. I thought I recorded that, but I guess I didn't. I only took the pictures for Instagram. But here you are. This is the underbase, and this is for the stroke. So the top one's going to be a 1-point stroke. The middle one's going to be 1.5 stroke, and the last one is going to be a 2-point stroke. I also actually realized I'm actually wearing the same shirt during of that time a month ago. I don't know why, but I'm always wearing this shirt. It was, it was a gift. But yeah, so let me load the screens and we'll do a quick test print. Unfortunately, I don't have any dark garments to do test prints. I only have like 1 or 2. So I'm gonna try to put this off. I'm gonna try to pull this off in 1 or 2 tries. So yeah. So I actually got done doing the stroke test right now, but before I show you guys what I did, and talk about the films real quick. I forgot to mention it earlier. Okay, so as you saw, this is the stroke for it, and this is 1 point. I mean 1 point, 1 point. What am I doing? 1 point and 1.5 and 2 point. Now a lot of people say that bigger the stroke, it'll be a lot easier to register it and to print. You have a less chance of even if you're off just a little bit, you won't have that white sticking out. And for a 2-point stroke, the only issue with that is that the bigger the stroke, it does lose its detail. For example, where is it at? Here. Okay, so this is the base, right? Let me move this here. This is the base. You see how that X is right there? But if you add a 2-point stroke to it, basically it makes it larger and it's already touching this. So yeah, so not a big deal with large, for example, like a block letters, but it's something with details. Yeah, you're gonna lose the details. So the way I'm gonna print this is, I'm actually gonna do 1 by 1. It might seem longer, but I'm gonna do it that way. So I'm gonna do first the 2-point stroke. I was gonna do the 1-point stroke first, but every time I'm gonna go like this, I'm gonna be dropping ink. So I'm gonna start off with the 2-point stroke. Hit that one. Then I'm gonna go with the color screen. I'm actually gonna be using red on this one, and try to register it. Go with the red, then do the next one, and so on. Okay. Oh wait, I gotta load ink first. Great. Okay. I'll try this real quick. So let me try it real quick. Even if you do get a perfect register, the problem here is that with the 2-point, since it is way bigger, the stroke, it goes off and it actually hits the shirt, which makes it a little bit darker. You can tell. For example, right here. This is a good example right here. Yeah, that's kind of ugly. That's why I hate wood screens. When you tighten them up, it messes everything up. Before it moves on me. Way off. Huh. Yeah, it's way off. Yeah, I was way off right there in that one. Okay. Here, way off. Right here, más o menos. Now, it's gonna be the 1-point stroke test. I don't know, I'm not getting enough ink on that one. Okay, so let's register through. So, not very good, not very good. So here's the final print. Better look at 3 of them. The 1-point stroke, a little bit more challenging because it's basically almost, it kind of feels like butt to butt because it's just 1-point stroke. I can tell it's off here, but actually it was a little bit faster registering this one than the 1.5 stroke. But the 1.5 stroke as well, I was off. Look at that. So when you get off, that's what happens. You get that little white gap. But on the other side, you get this dark gap because it doesn't have a base underneath it. It looks a little bit darker because it's hitting the garment. And this 2-point stroke, yeah, most likely with the 2-point stroke, it's a lot easier to register because, like, literally you're just you have a less risk of having the white base sticking out. But the problem with that is that you are going to get these dark spots because it is a 2-point stroke. For example, here to start, you see that? So, what are my thoughts on this? First of all, for the 1-point stroke, I think you get away with it. I mean, it's pretty good. It all depends on your press as well. I mean, the better press you have, especially if micro registrations. Yeah, if you have micros on your press, it's gonna make your registering a lot easier because you can make the little tiny adjustments. And if you do a test print, and you see that you're off just a little bit, well, you can make those small adjustments with just turning those knobs. But for example, in my case, if you have this crappy press where it has no micros on it, making the small adjustments is a lot more challenging because you're trying to make a little small one, but then moves this part. Because for me, the way I do my little micro adjustments is I just tap my screen. In this case, since I was working with wood screens, the problem with this is when I tighten these, the clamps on here, once I tighten it, it moves the screen, which basically throws my registration off, and also the palette. You can tell, it's loose. So yeah, it kind of makes, in my case, a 1-point stroke a lot more challenging. But for you guys who have a better press, you might have better luck with it. But in case you're like me, maybe a 1.5 stroke will make registering those colors a lot easier, because if you're off just a little bit, that little extra small stroke will cover that little white base, so it will be sticking out. But if you want to go big, you could do a 2-point stroke, but just keep in mind you will lose those small details. And in this case, for example, on this gray shirt, you will get that dark spot. I mean, look at that. So if you're off, big stick. Even if you're like dead on, for example, like here, you will still get that little, it look like a white, it's gonna look like a little shadow effect on it. On a black shirt, not a big deal. Like on a black shirt, you're gonna even notice that. But for example, this kind of color, you're gonna notice it. So yeah. But for me, I think you should do your own test to see what works best for you. Because again, like it will all depend on one, your screen you have. Especially the better the attention the screen you have, the better luck you're gonna get. Because as you can tell, my wood screens, they have horrible tensions. Like that. And they're all wood screens, so more challenging. So yeah, but at the end, like I mentioned, you're going to do your own test to see what works best for you. For me right now, looking at it, I might just use the 1.5, try to make it a little bit easier. But if I'm going to be printing on dark shirts, I might throw a 2-point stroke on that. And if it's something with details, I'm just gonna stick with a 1-point stroke, so I won't lose the tiny details. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I don't know, if you have any questions, feel free to drop in the comments below. I'm gonna leave this file on here on the description, so you can download it if you want to do this test yourself. But I'm gonna keep it with the Illustrator. That way you want to make, for example, you want to do each one on a different screen. That way you have to do it like this, because you might be asking, why did I just load one screen and do the other one? But the reason I didn't do that, because I knew my issues I was going to face. Tensions are horrible. It might be off a little bit, so it's going to be hard, difficult for me. It might look perfect on the 1-point stroke, but on the 2-point stroke it might be a little bit off. So yeah, so I'll leave that on there if you guys want to download it. But so yeah, so feel free to download that. And one last thing, some people who've been screen printing for a lot longer might be looking at the 2-point stroke as very unnecessary. But yeah, I agree. But someone starting out, you might have to start like that. But I guess once you get better experience, you'll be able to register those 1-point strokes with no issues at all. But that will take time, so yeah. But yeah, I still need to get better at talking. I can repeat the same things over and over again. So bye.